one mistake is all it will take. We'll go down in history. Remember me for centuries.
It is here, a long-awaited day. The first playoff games at college football's highest level. We begin where postseason football was first created. The Rose Bowl stands ready for a new era. The defiant, resilient, reigning champs from Florida State, survivors of 29 straight, underdogs today against the surging Ducks from Oregon. A dream quarterback collision. The prideful Hawaiian, Marcus Mariotta, has been almost flawless this year. Fellow Heisman winner, Jameis Winston, back at the scene of his championship heroics, so far unbeatable as a starter. Today, seniors like record-smashing receiver Rashad Green are hungry to extend their careers one more game. And many, like Mariotta's center, Hronis Grasu, will grit their teeth and ignore pain. Two running backs who were in high school a year ago, Royce Freeman and Dalvin Cook, will be counted on as workhorses on this big proving ground. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Heather Cox, and Tom Rinaldi will join us. What a thrill to call this game with you, partner, as we talk about this historic day and really a great 8 hours for fans. We've waited a long time for this.
We really have, and now it's here. And what a great game there that we just witnessed, and it's only going to get better now. You know, college football fans have been thinking about what will this Final Four really be like, and how about the setting here in Pasadena, the Rose Bowl, the San Gabriel Mountains looking over, and of course throwing it out to New Orleans at the Sugar Bowl with Ohio State and Alabama. We've been waiting and waiting, and it's finally here. This is a big celebration.
In New Orleans, it's been a lot about the head coaches. This is a dream quarterback matchup. The 79th and 80th Heisman Trophy winners. Mariota 35-4 as a starter. Winston 26-0 in his career.
Yeah, and we've talked again about a month now about this matchup. The two Heisman winners from the last 2 years. Mariota with incredible acceleration. Has to make great decisions today in the passing game to be able to have a chance. He is one of these guys that leads by example. And then you have last year's Heisman winner, Jameis Winston. A very, very outgoing, emotional player. Has started slow this year. I'll be interested to see how he starts tonight, because it's very, very important because of the offense and the quarterback that he's facing. He needs to start fast. No more of Florida State starting slow and waking up in the second half. They cannot afford to do that on this biggest stage against this opponent.
QBs with different personalities, they lead in different ways. We haven't talked defense yet, Kirk. Which defense is going to step up and look better than they have all year against tough opposition? Because they both had their moments, but they've also been vulnerable.
Yeah, they have. And I think the two defenses come in with a different mentality. I think Oregon's going to come in defensively, and they're going to almost build an umbrella. Because of Ifo Ekpreolamo being out, they're not going to play a lot of man-to-man. They're not going to live on an island with their corners against Jameis Winston. They're going to keep everything in front of them. Challenge Florida State to see if they can move the ball without making mistakes, and then try to lock down the Noles offense in the red zone. Try to make the Noles kick field goals. That'll be Oregon's approach. And I think if you're looking at Florida State, it's dealing with the tempo. It's dealing with the personnel groupings, the formations, the motions, all the eye candy that happens before the snap. That's what really can stress you. And also, let's keep a close eye on the defensive lineman from Florida State. We've seen this offense wear down talented defensive linemen in the past. The Noles have got to be weary of that and try to substitute the big fellas as often as they can throughout the game.
Spending time with both teams. You've got two supremely confident bunches. No program in America has a better record this decade than Oregon. Still, though, many don't respect them. And on the Seminoles side, they feel like the whole world, besides their community, wants to see them lose, and they seem to be embracing that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, and I think we've felt that this week. You know, they've tried to downplay that. I think that it's real. I think they feel it. I think their fans feel it. That's why I'd be very surprised if they started slow the way they have so many times this year.
Well, so many times Florida State's been able to pull out close games. The Ducks have not played in that many close games. They always make a fashion statement. This is the debut of the all-apple green unis and the matte green helmets. A win streak that stretches back 29 games to late 2012. Mark Helfrich and his offense will get the football first. The 40-year-old Oregon native, who's 23-3 in 2 seasons, is with Tom Rinaldi.
Chris, thank you very much. Coach, what most tells you your team is ready?
We're just, our mindset's good. You know, we're a loose operation in general, and we're focused, confident, and ready to go.
Appreciate the time and best of luck to you.
All right,
let's go over to Heather with Jimbo Fisher.
Tom, thanks so much. Coach, we saw what nobody wants to see. Your tight end, Nick O'Leary, went down running a route, tweaked his hamstring. What's his status for the game?
He's fine. He felt it get tight, and he caught it beforehand. We went in, got it stretched out, so he's good to go.
Today, you return to the field a year after winning the national championship right here. How do you use that experience to your advantage?
Well, hopefully the atmosphere and environment, learn how to play big games, and not worry about the outcome, just go play the game. And these guys have been in a lot of big games, so hopefully we'll carry it on to today.
Coach, enjoy it.
Thank you.
Chris?
Heather, Fisher's won 58 out of 68 career games and has not lost a postseason game, 4-0 in bowls. So one of the great kickers we've seen in college football, Roberto Aguayo, to kick it away and begin the playoff era, the highest level of college football. And this Rose Bowl game presented by Northwestern Mutual. Oregon can boast some dangerous return men. They'll bring it out. This is Allen. The sprinter still loose. Can't spin free. Dropped at the 20. And that's where the Heisman Trophy winner, the proud Hawaiian, will begin, Kurt.
Well, there's always pressure. And when you win a Heisman Trophy, there's even more pressure when you come into a game like this. Not only because of how you feel. There's Devin Allen walking off a little gingerly. One of their top receivers. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. Be a significant loss.
That's the 110-meter NCAA hurdles champion, the fastest guy in this offense.
Yeah, but Mariota understands. If there's one guy that can handle that pressure after winning the Heisman in early December, it's him. Let's see how the Noles deal with the tempo.
It's Charles Nelson coming in motion. Freeman is the tailback. They fake it and throw it on the edge, but penetrating, flying up to stop Marshall. The Noles ready for that first play. Tyler Hunter on the stop.
Tyler Hunter, but P.J. Williams, these corners will be tested quite a bit on the perimeter with a lot of quick passes, and it's not just tackling in space, it's getting off of blocks, and P.J. Williams there does an outstanding job.
Mariota play action, flips it short. This is Freeman, can't work free. Reggie Northrup, the junior linebacker, stopped him. It'll be 3rd and long.
This Florida State defense right now dialed in with 3 weeks to prepare. Just has a real good feel for this Oregon offense here early. Just the first couple snaps. They blitzed him that time with a linebacker, and the other linebacker, Northrup, stayed in place there on the screen.
Noles show pressure on 3rd and 8. Mariota has time, whips it over the middle, but overthrows his receiver, looking for Evan Bayless, the tight end who's filling in for Pharaoh Brown, the starter who's injured.
Interesting formation from Florida State there on 3rd down. Only 3 down linemen, but they brought a linebacker blitz with Reggie Northrup, but also had Chris Casher, an outside linebacker, walked off the ball and blitzed him late as well. But Oregon picked it up. That time Marcus just missed his open receiver.
Rashad Green back deep to receive the punt. And Ian Wheeler. Ducks going 3 and out. Green making the fair catch at the 41-yard line. So a strong start from the Florida State defense, and now Jameis Winston, excellent field position to work with.
Yeah, and remember, we always want to see how the Noles start. Their defense of 3 and out against Mariota, and now here comes Jameis Winston. Last year's Heisman Trophy winner has had a tendency to be a little sluggish early in games. He knows that he has to start fast. Ifo Ekpreolemu not in the lineup. See how quickly they try to attack the perimeter of the Oregon defense.
O'Leary is in the lineup. The tight end lining up on the left of the formation. That's good news for the Seminoles so far. Dalvin Cook lined up behind Winston. Jameis flips it in the flat to the freshman. Ducks close down quickly. Here's the Chick-fil-A impact players.
We'll start with Florida State. And you got to start with that running game. We talked about Dalvin Cook, how important he will be in the way Oregon will try to defend Florida State. They want to get him going to create some one-on-one opportunities without Ekpreolemu in the lineup. And that's where Rashad Green, one of the top receivers in the country this year, will try to get the one-on-one matchups.
Carlos Williams flanking Cook. It's the young guy with the ball running right, has a crease, and has a first down, or nearly a first down at the 50. A mark of a yard short.
And a really good block by Carlos Williams, number 9. Just follow him. He usually is a runner. But here they put both their starting running backs in the lineup together, and he follows Carlos Williams, who picks up a nice block out on the perimeter and gives Dalvin Cook some room to set up a very short yardage situation here on third down.
The feeling is the Ducks don't see a lot of two-back in the Pac-12.
No, not at all.
That's Freddie Stevenson in front of Williams. Williams has a first down into Oregon territory, cuts it back, dragged down inside the 30. So the Noles running game is rolling.
Nick O'Leary picks up a great block. He's in motion here, and he is going to be able to get this block on the outside linebacker, Tyson Coleman, and that's what freed it up. Actually, it's a safety, Eric Dargan. He just submarines him right there to win the edge, and it frees up Williams to pick up huge yards along with another block by a receiver downfield. The Noles on the attack here early. Remember we talked about they've been sluggish. Right now they're kind of going with the tempo and a kind of a feel of confidence to this offense.
Winston on the keeper, spins for a yard. You may see, Kirk, more design runs for the quarterback today.
Yeah, he tweaks his ankle about the 6th game in, and since then has been about 70 or 80% along the way. I thought in the ACC championship game against Georgia Tech he was closer to 100%, but with the 3 weeks to get ready for this game and watching him, you and I in practice, it's clear option could be a part of the game. Scrambling, creating could be a part of the plan for Winston now that he's healthy. Ducks doing a good job of gap control here. Once they get inside the red zone, they need to force field goals.
Winston straight back, hit, loses the ball, a scrum, and the Noles retain possession. That was Rodney Prevost, Kirk, who just got penalized for the hands to the face, pressuring Jameis.
Yeah, he did a good job. They walked him out over a slot receiver, and then they brought him. They brought him late. Nobody picked him up. Jameis Winston, because of his vision downfield, he didn't sense him at all. And Prevost walked out. This is an outside linebacker with a body of a safety, but he was walked out over a slot receiver, and they brought him late, surprised the Noles up front and Jameis Winston.
Bobby Hart, the tackle, making that crucial recovery, but it's 3rd and 17. A screen. Williams wide open, knocked down at the 11-yard line.
No, that's the goal here for Oregon. They're going to give up some yards. They want to try to get Aguayo to have to come out to kick field goals. It's the 2nd time now they've held up on a 3rd down, and it's the same blitz. They brought Prevost again from the field. They dropped their nose guard, trying to get Jameis Winston maybe fooled to throw the ball into the arms of Balducci. But Oregon, give them credit. That's the goal throughout 4 quarters. Give up some yards, force field goals, and not allow the touchdowns.
You think that red zone defense is the deciding factor in this game?
Sure do.
So Aguayo, who made it from 43, taken off the board. This from an angle in 28. No problem again. Oregon does well to prevent a touchdown after that personal foul, and now it swings back to Marcus Mariotta, the current Heisman winner, and his 2nd possession for Oregon coming up. Wow, hopes to have his field goals land in play so they can cover it, but that's shorter than he expected. And Byron Marshall trying to spin free. He stops at the 27. Tom? Mariota back on 1st down, fires across the middle. It's caught by Bayless, doing his best to be a weapon, a factor in this game, the way that Pharaoh Brown was.
Yeah, great accuracy, quick decision. That's the strengths of Marcus Mariotta. Now with the 1st down, now you see Oregon. They give him a different formation, trips up to the top. Actually, 4 receivers up to the top.
High snap. Mariota rolls and flips a short pass high, but it's collected for a 1st down by Charles Nelson. 170-pounder from Daytona Beach.
Yeah, and there's some traffic there where you got a guy coming in motion. There's a lot of man-to-man. You can see he gets caught up. Florida State fans are familiar with picks and screens from the Notre Dame game. That time that you saw a receiver, Nelson, get through.
Mariota on the keeper. They are keenly aware of his speed, and Ronald Darby, the fast corner, forces him out.
Yeah, they are all, every single player on this defense is determined to not get outflanked by Mariota. And that's why I think running Royce Freeman into the middle, making them respect Royce Freeman, can open that up.
Mariota forces one over the middle, caught, first down, inside the 20. Dwayne Stanford wearing the number 85 to honor Pharaoh Brown, and they move the sticks and want to play fast again.
Great patience, went to the backside, found his third option.
Mariota keeps it and gives it off to Nelson there, and Nelson rolling down near the pylon, marked out at the 1.
You're going to see a lot of, yeah, they can fool you, and it's in a hurry. That's after the pitch. He goes in, tries to reach out, comes up, the ball short. Good spot.
And now diving over the pile for a touchdown is Freeman. And the Ducks strike back quickly. Took 9 plays to go 73 yards and answer Florida State's field goal. 2:03. Very time-consuming by their standards. And now they'll spread them out and get a look. They go for 2 quite often if they think it's an advantageous play. And they're going to throw it. This is Taylor Alley. Pitches it out, and the Ducks grab a point. 8-3. Christian French, who's a linebacker, made the catch.
Former tight end. They move him out there. They get him the football, and he knows what to do with it with his background of playing tight end. He lowers that shoulder, breaks the play, and to get to 2 points.
Haley is the number 3 quarterback. He's run a couple in, and now he's thrown for 2 two-point conversions. The Ducks up 8-3. Jameis' turn next. Ducks take the lead. Mariota 4 of 4 on that touchdown drive. Key third down conversion to Dwayne Stanford. Big play to the tight end Bayless, setting up Freeman's touchdown run. Matt Wogan to boot it away. Ducks will use 2 kickers. And after mishandling it, Whitfield will bring it out. The 100-yard hero last year. Did he lose the ball? A scrum down there at the 15. Florida State again recovers one of its own fumbles. Now the senior Williams spelling the freshman Cook. Winston loops it downfield, has a man open, and it's caught. Knocked out of bounds, Travis Rudolph at the Oregon 30. And the true freshman from West Palm Beach who's come on huge the second half of the season.
He sure has, and this is an easy read in the flat here. You see him right out here. You're going to read this defender. If he sits up, you're going to go over the top. If he drops back, then you're just going to make the easier throw underneath. This time, put an outside linebacker out in space, Christian French. It's tough for him to deal with those receivers out on the perimeter.
20-yard gain. Now the Noles playing with some tempo. Jesus Wilson on the edge. Another first down inside the Oregon 20.
I think Travis Rudolph is the future of the Florida State receivers, the future leader of this team. Made a great catch, comes back the very next play, comes up with a nice block to help spring this running game. Very important for both teams to get great blocking from these wide receivers to be able to try to spring even bigger plays in the run game.
Cook, right up the gut, dives forward to the 2.
Impressive push by the center and right guard, Irving and Trey Jackson that time, opening that up. And I'll tell you, Cook was very close to maintaining his balance and taking that into the end zone.
In the final minute of the first quarter, Florida State trying to reclaim the lead. Cook cuts it back, knocked down short at the 1-yard line. Ducks dive for the football. But it's Florida State ball. Reggie Daniels came in there late. Third down, about a yard away.
Ducks very sound there with their gaps. Time Daniels, Chris, you talked about it. He went for the football, but he was also in place, in position to be able to prevent Cook from getting into the end zone.
Ducks have been a very good third and short defense. They don't like that label that they're not tough and not physical. Untimed third down. Williams, no! And the Ducks showing they are a very stout short yardage defense. They just clogged up the middle and nowhere for the physical tailback to go.
What better way to send a message to the country against this Florida State offensive line? We're not tough enough. We can't handle this. How about 3rd and short, doing it twice? They just shoot these gaps right here. Safety comes in to help out as well. You know, when you see Mario Edwards, the outside linebacker, in, they're going to run right. They tried to run right, and the Ducks win the battle at the line of scrimmage. Carlos Williams is short.
Reggie Daniels helped on the stop. They got a time to think about it now. Do you go for it on 4th and 1? Get into the first quarter. Back after these messages. Florida State, the only team in the country that has not converted on a 4th down all season. The fewest attempts of anybody. 0 for 4, Kirk, but they're going here.
And the big fella, Mario Edwards, in the lineup. Will they use him as a decoy? They roll up their sleeves and see who's tougher, or they fake the run and go play action?
Edwards lined up behind the tackle. Option look. Winston, keeper, reaches for the goal line. Touchdown! And the Seminoles reclaim the lead by a few inches there. They had to work for it.
Interesting call by Jimbo Fisher. A look that he has not shown much at all. On 4th and goal, Jameis loses ground, about to pitch, and then decides to cut underneath. Tony Washington grabs a hold of him, and it's really going to come down to his knee touch before he breaks the plane.
He looks
he
down.
May be down.
They'll
He's going to
take
be
a look
down.
at this.
Previous ruling of a touchdown is under further review.
He's going to be down at the half-yard line. We're going to watch the right knee. It's like it touches right about there, short. He's definitely short of the goal line.
After review, the runner's knee was down with the ball short of the goal line. Ball will be placed at the 1/2-yard line, first down.
Tony Washington was one of the heroes of that defensive stand for Oregon. He's the guy that grabbed Winston's leg.
Absolutely. But I go back to when he was under center. Not a lot of experience running this other than practice. I thought he lost ground, and that may have ultimately cost him. Watch out, you're supposed to attack downhill, and instead of attacking downhill, he loses ground, and then instead of pitching, decides to run it, and that's where Tony Washington was about to go out for the pitch. This puts his right foot into the ground, comes back down, and makes that play on Jameis Winston to get him short of the end zone.
Still haven't converted on a 4th down this season. Amazing. Mariota backed up in the shotgun now from inside the 1-yard line. And it's Thomas Tyner at tailback, but Mariota wants to flip it over the middle, kind of short-armed it incomplete.
Florida State has him backed up. You know, Florida State, one thing they're doing a good job of is they're not necessarily blitzing a lot, but they're getting pressure in the face of Marcus Mariotta.
Tyner hit. Now the ball
Comes
out. He was popped and diving forward to make the astute recovery was Mariota.
No, Mariota reads this play, zone read, and Casher collapses down and he pulls it out. He comes down on Tyner and he just pulled that out. That's the read option at its finest there by Mariota.
So it's 3rd and 3. Hands this one off, and muscling forward for a first down is Thomas Tyner, the sophomore from Aloha, Oregon.
That is a big conversion here on 3rd down.
One of the later pulls in a zone read you'll ever see.
It was great. It was a great play. And it was textbook on what he's reading. When those defensive ends collapse down, he's got to pull it out.
Handoff inside. Tyner loose out to the 25. Another first down. B.J. Williams knocked him down, but now the Ducks will speed things up.
Same read. This time Casher stays outside, and now your man short. Now they run the football up the middle.
It's Mariota, keeper. Gets the edge, flashes the speed out near midfield, driven out at the 48.
See, the reason you're starting to see the outside open up is we've seen Tyner and also Freeman pick up some yards to the middle. And when you get those yards, the defense just instinctively, you start to squeeze. You start to want to help to the inside. And just when you start to do that, Mariota goes by you on the outside.
Mariota, as Nelson came in motion, they flip it to him far side, makes a man miss, and gets driven out near the marker hard by Ronald Darby. With 9 more yards.
Yeah, 9 more yards. And the freshman Nelson, who, by the way, is from Daytona Beach, Florida, ended up all the way out in Eugene, Oregon. But when he gets the ball in space, I don't care who he's going up against, he can make you miss.
Empty backfield, and Mariota, keeper up the middle, drive forward for a first down. Nelson blew out his knee as a junior. Really wasn't heavily recruited by the Seminoles or the Gators. Oregon stayed with him despite the injury, and he's been a very productive true freshman.
It's Florida State defense right now. Their heads are spinning a little bit. They prepped for 3 weeks, but to see Mariota and this tempo and the personnel groupings and the different formations, it puts a lot on this defense.
Play action, completion far side. This is Keenan Lowe, Carrington scampering forward.
Go back to Jameis Winston being short on that 4th down. And if Oregon puts 6 on the board here, it'll be an interesting sequence of events between Florida State coming up short and Oregon maybe taking it their home half-yard line and going 99.5 yards.
Timing and slipping after the handoff there was Byron Marshall, the receiver who motioned back into the backfield. So it's 3rd down, Kirk.
He lost his footing. But that time you saw a linebacker and Reggie Northrup coming downhill in a hurry. You and I were talking at the break. We liked the timeout by either Jimbo Fisher or Charles Kelly to kind of regroup their team before this drive finished.
On 3rd down, Mariota still got it. Fires far side, looking for Bayless. Timing disrupted. They're pressured by Mario Edwards, and it's 4th and 6.
Yeah, Mario Edwards, he's been talked about a lot this year. The leadership that he provides, the weight that he's lost, the commitment that he's made to this team. They get him out there in space. That time he kind of dropped. Then he ended up blitzing, and he hurried Mariota to throw that football before I think his man was ready.
This time, Helfrich Wilson, Aiden Schneider, the freshman from Portland, out. He's 8 of 9 field goals. Angled attempt from 28 yards for Schneider. And they're very accurate from close range. Huge 88-yard drive to tack on 3 and stretch it to an 8-point game. Tournament of Roses Parade watched around the world this morning. That float celebrating the upcoming Special Olympics World Games. It'll be here in Los Angeles, this area, 9 days beginning July 25th. So the field goal by Schneider, after an interesting penalty that was declined, hit on that, and Schneider to kick it away now. Woodfield knocked down after darting forward across the 25-yard line. So Winston, play action on 1st down. Fires over the middle, complete. And that's Travis Rudolph, the freshman, with a catch into Oregon territory at the 45.
And finally, there's a window for Jameis Winston to throw into. You're going to see right through this area, the linebackers clear out. A little bit of play action here. Nice job with protection. But right there, they finally give Winston a little bit of room to work with. And when you do that, he's accurate enough to make you pay for it.
17-yard gain. Cook from a deep position takes a handoff, gets the edge. Dalvin Cook makes a man miss on the edge, tiptoes out of bounds at about the 26.
Right before that play, Eric Dargan is out of the lineup, and Tyree Robinson steps into the lineup. Watch the angle. He just checks into the game for Dargan, one of the veterans. Watch as he tries to come out. He has a little bit of a block, but he's slow in responding. Dargan can make that play. Tyree Robinson, the freshman from San Diego, slow in getting over there and allows Florida State to have a big game.
Yeah, 20 yards and already 69 for the freshman Cook, who's got it again. Runs through a crease and driven back by Tyree Robinson. But a good game. Dargan back in the game.
Dargan needs to be back in the game. He's a guy that has paid his dues for Oregon, known as more of a special teams player early in his career. Has some very talented guys ahead of him, so it had to put it all together in his senior year, and really they turned to him for the leadership and making sure everybody's lined up and in position.
3rd and 9. Winston fires a strike over the middle. 1st and goal. Well thrown dart, and Jesus Wilson makes the catch.
Yeah, perfect timing. He gets behind Hagan right here. Watch this linebacker. You're going to see a receiver come in right behind him. This ball has to be thrown quickly. The timing is very, very important, and throwing it on a line before the safety can come up and make a play on it to separate the receiver from the ball. He's got to throw it quick. There's Reggie Daniels coming in. By throwing it the way he did, it allowed Wilson to protect himself before the big hit and take care of the football.
Jameis. He's got single coverage as well. Winston looked that way. Green covered. Now fires into the end zone. Batted away, incomplete. Eric Dargan toughing it out. Got a hand on it.
Not only is he toughing it out, this guy does a good job of staying with the receiver in space. He gets his hands on his football. There's Coleman closing in. Watch him step in front of that, in front of Rudolph, get both his hands on that ball. Florida State very, very fortunate that Dargan does not intercept that football that Jameis Winston threw. Took a chance there.
He's so smart, instinctive. That's why he's got 6 picks this year, often in the right place. So 2nd and goal. They hand it to Cook, who cuts it back. Running through some arm tackles down to the 3.
Well, what vision from this young running back and the acceleration. Watch him put his right foot in the ground when he sees the cut back behind Cam Irving, the big center. Does a good job. That ball can bounce to the outside or it can cut back. He felt the leverage of the defense to the outside, recognized it early enough, pressed it, and then cut it back behind Irving and picks up good yards to give him a shot here on 3rd down inside the 5-yard line.
Another one of those important plays near the goal line. They need 3. Winston looking left, now back over the middle, fires incomplete. There was a collision. O'Leary fell down, no flag. Tyree Robinson tangled up with him.
Well, it was pretty physical. Nick O'Leary was locked up with Robinson, the freshman. Remember the hamstring? It doesn't seem to affect him, but boy, they are locked up and pushing on each other.
Oh,
wow.
That's
no wonder Nick O'Leary's looking, what in the heck's going on here? Where's the call?
SEC crew missed that one. Tyree Robinson just tugged on the front of the jersey.
Wow. But regardless of the call, they have to settle for a field goal again. 3rd time inside the red zone, potentially 2 field goals, and the turnover on downs.
Maguire, who has never missed in his career inside the 40, knocks it right through. But once again, the Seminoles march a long way, 65 yards in this case, cannot find the end zone, although it should have been a 1st and goal there.
Don Pella, the defensive coordinator from Oregon. I mean, you hate to tell your guys, hey, we're going to give up some yards, but that's part of the plan. Give up some yards, lock down in the red zone, and force field goals.
Whether you had called holding or pass interference, you could have called either one of them. It would have been 1st and goal. And Jimbo Fisher was hot at the officials in that timeout.
Oh, yeah, he sure was. Deservingly so.
Deep kickoff by Aguayo will be a touchback. So the Ducks back to work. And slipping down there is Marshall after a very short gain. Marshall hasn't really gotten untracked, hasn't become a factor yet.
No, it's an inside-outside game. I mean, Oregon has had a lot of success with going fast and getting the ball up the middle, getting the ball to the outside. There he goes again, keeping it.
Mariota up the middle, shows the acceleration, then slides down after gaining 1st down yardage.
And watch the defensive end collapse down, pulls it out, then he gets a nice block on the linebacker, Terrence Smith, and then there's just grass. Plenty of room there with his speed to pick up great yards.
Catch made by Stanford. He's forced out. Tyler Hunter on the tackle. Yeah, his nickname is Rolls Royce, but he really runs more like an SUV than a luxury sedan, doesn't he?
No doubt about that. And how about Mariota just in such rhythm? Terrence Smith tried to sneak in a blitz on that play. And as soon as he blitzed, just a quick, simple little throw to the outside. The Bayless, no problem. Recognized it, executed it.
3rd and 3. Mariota now pressured, backpedaling, stays alive, fires over the middle, complete for a 1st down. Carrington down inside the 35. And you see Mariota's elusiveness paying off.
Yes, that's all about spacing. You had one receiver go vertical to take the inside linebacker out. You have one receiver out in the flat. It opens up a huge void right in the middle, and Mariota finds it.
Now Freeman Taking the handoff. All the Noles defenders notice on tape, Kirk, how dangerous he is because he keeps looking downfield even when he's scrambling.
Yeah, you have a receiver go here, you have a receiver here, then you have another receiver that kind of holds up right here, and that's really what he's looking at doing, trying to take advantage of that spacing. Guy clears out. Look at the opening in the middle of that. The patience, eyes downfield, and makes the throw.
It's Tyner in the game, and he's got the football. Thomas Tyner running through a tackle inside the 20, hauled down inside the 10. Back healthy after missing the last 3 with a shoulder injury and making it an impact.
Well, this is amazing to see the combination of Freeman and now Tyner healthy. Look at him run. He runs right through Tyler Hunter coming up in run support.
Bucks playing quickly on 1st and goal. Tyner so eager to help Freeman out, make an impact in this game after missing the stretch run. Still in the game. They fake it to him. Mariota fires far side. Marshall hammers down near the goal line. Ramsey prevented a touchdown, but the Ducks are close.
You got to get off blocks on the perimeter. That time you saw Stanford make a great block. It almost allowed Marshall to get into the end zone, but those corners out there against those receivers, it's a one-on-one battle, not just defending the pass, but being physical to get off those blocks.
They flip it on short. Knocked out of bounds just short of the goal line is Marshall again. Noles did a good job reacting there.
That hurry up that time, the Noles only had 2 defenders out there. There are 3 receivers to the top, only 2 defenders.
Another quick play. And waltzing into the end zone is Tyner to finish off this touchdown drive. And Oregon stretches the lead to double digits.
Not only do you have a Florida State defense giving up points, you have a Florida State defense right now that is confused. They're frustrated because they can't get lined up fast enough in order to try to give themselves a chance at stopping the execution that's in warp speed right now for Mariota and the Ducks.
How could anyone get lined up fast enough when they're playing at that tempo? Schneider. This time they don't try any trickery, the straightforward PAT. And he knocks it through. And for the 4th time this season, the Seminoles are down double digits with halftime approaching.
Chris, look up to the left. This is the touchdown. The previous play, they didn't even have anybody up there to stop the play. They were fortunate that the previous play didn't get in the end zone, but you can see Florida State read their body language. They're giving up points, and they're getting frustrated. Get ready.
Logan boots it away. It's short and returnable by Kermit Whitfield. Into some traffic out near the 30-yard line. Very familiar position for this team. Winston complete across the middle, coming out of the backfield. To make the catch was Williams.
To make these last couple minutes even more important, Florida State, remember, they deferred. So they will get the ball to start the second half. That puts a lot on this drive for the Noles.
Winston well protected. Plenty of time for someone to work free, and it's looped downfield and caught. It was Williams again out of the backfield. A tough matchup when they're in Oregon territory.
And great patience. Carlos Williams lines up right here. He's maybe the 4th option. I mean, he's a check down who just kept going down the sideline and got down behind Prevo. He was supposed to be in the backfield. How about the timing, the protection, and the patience that time by Jameis Winston to find the running back down the right sideline.
Winston across the middle, caught by Erman Lane, and the freshman takes a big hit, but has a first down at the 25. That was Daniels, who's back in the game, delivering the blow.
Yeah, you saw Prevo. You're going to see a route here and back to the inside. 2 Ducks defenders run right into each other. Prevo, the defensive end, gets in the way of the corner. Cisse.
So 1st and 5 after the penalty. Williams cuts it back, has a first down inside the 15. Seminoles having to look for some other answers, Kirk. You talk about Rashad Green with 93 catches this year, O'Leary with 47. Combined, they've got 2 catches for 1 yard. That's it.
Yeah, and that's Jimbo Fisher constantly feeling out a defense, trying to find answers, making adjustments.
Final minute of the half now. Winston, again, ton of time, rolling out, taken off, and knocked down at the 10. 41 seconds to play.
Good job of not only picking up yards, but getting out of bounds. Still have the 2 timeouts with 41 seconds to go. And Oregon playing some man, and that's why it freed up the underneath for Winston to pull the ball down and take off. Again, we've not seen him do that a lot this year because of the ankle, but now healthier he can. Back down to this red zone. Do they settle for field goal or they get a touchdown?
Leary in motion, and they run it to that left side. Williams breaks free, stutter step, standing up, touchdown. Noles find the end zone for the first time, and this pattern repeats of getting points before halftime.
The Noles say, you know what? We can score in a hurry, too. 6 plays, 71 yards in a minute 35. And Carlos Williams, the veteran, the senior, stepping up, making some plays. But the Oregon Ducks brought the blitz that time, and the offensive line from Florida State picked it up nicely, and that's what freed up Williams to take it into the end zone.
Guayo makes it a 5-point game. AT&T brings this inside the headset now. Mark Helfrich working his way toward Tom Rinaldi, and plenty to talk about in this first half. In the meantime, Heather Cox has Jimbo Fisher.
Chris, thanks so much. Coach, you are no stranger to comebacks, as you showed in those last 2 possessions. What's the biggest adjustment you need to make to keep that streak alive?
Well, I think just keep making plays right now. Don't worry about the outcome. Keep playing it. We got to execute in the red zone. We had some chances down in the red zone. The one, man, we could have walked in right there, and we let one slip away on another thing. But scored touchdowns in the red zone. We're moving the ball very good. And on defense, I like what we're making nice adjustments. They're moving it, but we're getting some good stops.
Coach, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. Let's head over to the Oregon sideline with Tom Rinaldi.
Heather, thank you very much. Coach, you have the lead at halftime, but you're playing a team which has come back 9 times this season. How do you keep that from happening in the second half?
Just do our deal. You know, we're not playing very well, not playing very smart, not playing cleanly enough. Defensively could have finished some things and got some penalties. Offensively had some penalties, and we'll discuss that. But just got to play a little bit cleaner.
One adjustment you most need to make?
Just that, you know, stay the course. We, you know, had a huge play there, and we had a broken route on the pick. Had a huge play that got called back for the holding. You know, just a bunch of little things here and there.
Appreciate it, Coach. Good luck. Chris?
Tom, thank you. Neither Heisman quarterback with a touchdown pass in the first half. The Noles will get the football to begin it, down by 5. End of the first half in Pasadena. Stay tuned after these messages for the Buick Halftime Report. Rose Bowl lights on, ready for the second half. Welcome back to the college football playoff at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Northwestern Mutual. Interesting first half. Oregon had the ball 5 minutes less than Florida State, but squeezed in 3 more plays. Both offenses, Kirk, moving the ball pretty well, but all the important plays in that half really came down inside the 15-yard line.
Yeah, they sure did. We saw Florida State in many cases have to settle for a field goal. They didn't convert there on that 4th down, but look at the Home Depot coaches' adjustments. It's what can this Noles defense do to get Marcus Mariotta off track and running and executing this offense. Simple zone read. He pulls around, picks up big yards here. They blitz him. They get to him. He's able to pull away and find an open receiver. And this is probably the theme of the first half, the tempo, how it impacted Florida State. In many cases, not even getting lined up right, definitely on their heels, losing their aggressive nature. And that's something that Charles Kelly's going to have to try to come up with an answer for.
Chance for that Noles defense to rest. And now Florida State will go back on offense to begin the second half. Logan kicks it away. So Whitfield at the 1. Kermit can't quite get the corner. Good coverage from Oregon. And knocked down at the 20-yard line by Keenan Lowe, the receiver.
Love to see these receivers from Oregon on kickoff coverage. I remember Jeff Mayle years ago for Oregon. Score a touchdown. Next thing you know, he's downfield covering a kickoff. Took more pride in covering the kickoff and making a tackle. And there's Keenan Lowe continuing that tradition. And you also have Charles Nelson, another freshman wide receiver, covers kicks and makes a lot of plays on kickoff coverage.
Get Nelson, a freshman receiver. He's had 16 tackles this year.
Incredible.
That's an insane number.
Yeah, he's a little guy. He's 5'8", 170 pounds, but they say he's just a ball hawk. He goes in and throws his body in there.
So the second half, when Winston typically shines, they start from the 20, and Jameis fires over the middle, complete for a 20-yard gain. It's Travis Rudolph, who stepped up because Green's had a quiet game.
Watch the middle of the Oregon defense underneath open up. The 2 linebackers separate. There's the window. Jameis made a throw earlier in the first half, one of the few where he he didn't have somebody in his face, and one of the few where he had a man open. They start the second half where the Red Sea just parts, and he makes an easy throw.
20-yard gain. Cook cutting it back. Desmond mentioned he was very productive in the first half, closing in on 100 yards. Do you expect to see a heavier dose of number 4 in the second half?
Yeah, well, Jimbo usually just goes with a hot hand, and as much as Dalvin Cook looked good, there were moments where the senior Carlos Williams came in there and did a nice job as well. But I'm going to tell you something. If I'm Jimbo Fisher, I'm challenging my offensive line, because as much zone and as soft as Oregon has been with coverage, the answer is running the football and controlling the line of scrimmage.
On 2nd and 9, Winston has excellent time, and again fires across the middle, complete for a first down, and that is Rashad Green, who so often becomes a factor in the second half.
You see the adjustment from Jimbo Fisher. He's attacking the interior of the Oregon defense. They're sitting back in cover 2, trying to keep everything in front of them. So they're going to start to try to attack the linebackers from Oregon if they're not getting the proper depth and recognizing those crossing routes.
Here's another first down throw. Again, over the middle, incomplete. That time overled Travis Rudolph down to Heather Cox.
Chris, now just 3 catches for Rashad Green, no catches for Nick O'Leary. Jimbo Fisher's take on it: we are taking what the Oregon defense is giving us. It has nothing to do with Nick O'Leary's tweaked hamstring that he pulled in warm-ups. Yes, he'd like to get the ball more to Rashid, as you just saw, and to Nick. The biggest thing, red zone execution. We have got to score touchdowns instead of field goals inside the 20.
There's a 2nd and 10 handoff to Cook, who bounces it, now cuts back, follows a block from Rudolph, and muscles, loses the football. Oregon's got it. At the end of the run, the ball came out. And the true freshman coughs it up.
What a great effort by Derek Malone not to give up on the play. 22 will come in from behind and rip that football out before Cook's knee touches the ground. This is a great game. Florida State did a nice job on the outside zone play, but 22 Malone, who was behind the play, was no longer involved in the play, but he didn't give up on it, came back to rip the ball away and create the turnover.
And I always talk, Kirk, it's no matter how brilliant you are as a true freshman back, you often see guys lose the ball in plays like that. Mariota, first down throw in traffic on the edge, and Nelson couldn't come up with it. Just the different level of intensity, bigger, stronger guys ripping at the ball. Cook has worked hard to try to conquer that fumbling problem.
Jimbo Fisher right away going over and talking to him. And I think that's important for a head coach to do with any back or anybody that makes a crucial mistake, let alone a true freshman.
Mariota fakes it to Freeman, and now fires. Carrington running free, still on his feet. Hurdled a tackler and dives now near the 35-yard line of Florida State. And the Ducks up to the line quickly.
There was a bust there in coverage, a combination of coverages, half the defense playing zone and on the right side playing man. So when Carrington broke free, he had a lot of room to work to the right side.
Nelson in motion. They fake it to Freeman. Mariota on the roll, cuts it back, now fires late, complete to Bayless, who's been a weapon today, and the tight end muscling down near the 10. And Pharaoh Brown is smiling, the man who suffered that grisly injury. Bayless doing his best to fill in for him, Kirk, and having a big ball game.
6'6", 250 pounds, makes a nice catch, but then picks up valuable yards after it with his physicality.
He got 30 yards there, and the Noles barely lined up before Freeman hammers ahead. Here's a flag. Northrop made the tackle. When you're
Personal
tired.
foul, face mask, defense number 5. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
It might be a step so you're reaching and grabbing, and that's when the penalties come in.
It's almost desperation mode. You know, they come up with a big 30-yard gain, and before you can really reassess what just happened, the ball snapped. And now you're trying to make a play, and there's 5 reaching in with his hands, doing anything you can. Grab a jersey, grab a leg, in that case, grab a face mask to try to prevent him from getting into the end zone.
First and goal. They don't always quick snap it. They'll sometimes look to the sideline for the adjustment. Scott Frost is the play caller, former Nebraska quarterback and an NFL safety. Freeman running right, cuts it back, muscles into the end zone, and the Ducks stretch the lead in their first possession of the second half. Cook's fumble turned the ball over, and the Ducks march 69 yards in 5 quick plays. Second touchdown for the Ducks' true freshman tailback. Schneider to put the lead at 12.
So the fumble by the young freshman, Dalvin Cook, sets this up. The touchdown here. Watch the center here, Chris. This is really impressive. You don't see a lot of centers. Grasu, watch him pull and seal it backside. Nice job right there. Nifty footwork with a guy that has a bum ankle. Does a nice job there. Opens up that running lane, and the Ducks go on the board again.
A little bit prone to some loss of poise this year. Great player.
It's part of the frustration of trying to defend this Oregon offense.
And Logan just boots it way out of the end zone. Dalvin Cook lined up deep. They fake it to him. Winston rolling back and fires underneath to the fullback Stevenson, who's out near midfield before Daniel stops him. Another first down.
Well, they just lost him in coverage. Something you don't see very often. He's right here. He's going to delay and just work his way underneath. You combine that with the action, you get the linebackers out of position. A nice block there by Nick O'Leary. He's fallen off his back foot because of the pressure that he feels from Prevo, but still throws an accurate ball there to the big fullback.
Play action on first down. Winston pressured, loses the ball momentarily, picks it up, but is sacked by Tony Washington. Second sack for the Ducks.
A delayed blitz that confuses the offensive line. And again, Jameis Winston, he's right here. Looks like he's in coverage. He'll sneak out, and then he'll come. Now, Dalvin Cook doesn't see him because he comes so late. The line didn't adjust that way, so he comes free again. We've seen Prevo come free a lot off the edge of some delayed blitzes that the offensive lineman or the running back have not been able to account for.
Washington the pressure. Tyson Coleman cleaned it up, and that play lost 11 yards. Far sideline catch made, first down. It's Wilson. And a nice strong throw by Winston.
Boy, just make sure, just check that he gets his feet down for the first down. It's a nice catch, gets both his feet down.
Remember that play, Kirk, 3rd and 21.
Yeah, that is a huge play to keep this drive alive, and Jameis is going a little bit of tempo himself.
You're down a dozen points to a rolling offense. Keep the drive alive with a big conversion, and now Green a short gain as they get it to the edge.
Go back to the previous play, similar formation. You see Bobo Wilson, who's lined up at the line. He just gets lost in coverage. That's the young man, Chris Cisse. I don't know if he and Eric Dargan were on the same page. You have one guy's a senior, one guy's a freshman who was in for Ifo Ekpre-Olumu. My guess is Cisse that time should have sunk back in coverage, especially on 3rd and 21. Don't worry about the underneath throw.
Cook in a second down handoff, dragged down. It's tough for a defense. You think we're going to get him off the field here. It's 3rd and 21. All of a sudden, the big pass, and it's the Ducks who are backpedaling now a little bit.
Yeah, now it sets up another 3rd down. Obviously much more manageable at 3rd and 3.
Florida State 4 of 9 on 3rd down and unable to convert that 4th and goal. And the 1. Williams is the tailback. That's Rudolph motioning in the slot. Winston's going to throw. And they find the spot in the zone. It's Green beginning to get involved. First down in the red zone.
Jameis Winston uses his eyes to keep the linebacker Rodney Hardrick into the middle of this defense. Really good job of using his eyes to keep the one threat was the linebacker 48 of possibly coming over, but he does a good job of keeping him, Hardrick, away from where he needed to be to come over to be able to make a play on Rashad Green. Using his eyes to the middle, coming back, making a great throw on 3rd down to Green. And now, as you said, Chris, Green starting to get a lot more involved.
First down play action. Winston on the run. Fires back down near the goal line. Caught and reaching for the end zone. Touchdown, Travis Rudolph. That's how a championship team responds. You thought the Noles were going to go away?
How about the call here on 1st and 10? Great mixture of plays by Jimbo Fisher. Some runs, some throws, and on 1st and 10, Oregon brings some pressure. They go play action, and Jameis Winston rolls away from it to get outside of the pressure and makes another accurate throw, this time to the freshman Rudolph.
Winston's first touchdown pass continues his streak. At least one TD pass in every career start. All 27 now. Going 75 yards in 10 plays. And Aguayo knocks it through. A crucial touchdown march from the defending champions.
No doubt about it. Oregon's defense, watch how they attack the line of scrimmage on 1st and 10. Rudolph comes from the backside all the way over, and Jameis waits to the last second to get him to clear and get away from the safety. Eric Dargan puts the ball there, and a great effort by Rudolph to extend the ball for the touchdown.
As the San Gabriels are bathed in late day sunlight. Byron Marshall from his 5 knocked down. You do love the San Gabriels, don't you? Brings it
growing up
to your heart.
Well, growing up in the Big Ten country in the heart of Ohio, it's dark at about 4 o'clock. It's gray. It's cold. There's snow on the ground. And my whole life, I would turn on the Rose Bowl, and it was just like going from black and white TV to high def. And to be able to look at this in person now for 9 straight years, it never gets old looking at that view. To me, this is the best setting in sports. I would love to see the national championship played in this venue every single year.
This is the best office in the world, by the way, isn't it?
This is the best.
Mojave Desert, by the way, on the other side. In case you're interested.
You'll coach me up.
All right, now it's the Ducks' turn. The lead cut back to 5. Winston flips it on the edge to Carrington. And then all of a sudden, a pretty good job on those wide passes of closing things down.
Yeah, we're going to try to give you a feel. There's Scott Frost, top right, who calls the play. Down on the right, they're already signaling the play. The play's already been called. Mariotta's already, everybody's on the same page. We're 10 seconds in. They're ready to snap the ball. We're going to give you a feel of how quickly this happens throughout the next few sequence of plays.
Hand off to Tyner. And he's got a first down, and now they'll really ramp up the tempo.
Now watch out, Scott Frost. Watch it. See how quick he calls this. He may have already called it. The guys are already signaling.
And the card's upside down, by the way. I hope that wasn't important.
But Mariota, look, he's ready to go. 10 seconds. Snap the ball.
And Tyner again cuts it back. In case you're wondering, it's a combination of signals and symbols, so that the cards often don't mean a whole lot.
No, but the point is the timing of it. Mariota looking over right now to the cards and to the different signals. Some of them are decoy and some of the real call. But Mariota snapping, clapping his hands. He's ready for the snap.
Play action. Mariota flips it short. It's Bayless with another catch, and he muscles forward, shoved out by Williams on the far side, but it's his first down.
Yeah, Scott Frost has already made the next call. Literally, he said within 2 seconds he needs to make the call to get it down when they're really going tempo as they are right now.
Helfrich will help out occasionally if he's swimming, in Russ' words.
Yeah.
Because your head can swim when you play this fast. Mariota thinking fast, makes a completion on the far side, and running free is Darren Carrington. Tempo is deadly, and execution equally so.
They ran the same play the previous play where he threw it out into the flat to the tight end, right? Bayless made a great catch. They come back with a very similar look, and this time 2 Florida State defenders go out with Bayless, and that opens it up. Mariota does a great job of reading it, and he makes the throw.
And this quarterback duel is heating up. Mariota's first touchdown pass of the game. Schneider stretches the lead for a 3rd time, back to 12 points. 56 yards, Kirk.
So here's the tight end on the previous play. He's going to go out in the flat. Carrington's going to go down the sideline, and Mariota's going to make this read. He sees that he's got it open in the flat, and he takes it, all right? And then the strength gets the first down. The very next play, now watch this. Now you got the tight end in the flat, and you got two Florida State defenders. They take the tight end away. Gives him a nice lane right here, and he makes the throw on time and allows him to come back underneath the safety because he got the football out of his hands quickly. That was the key to being able to make that cut and then eventually take it to the house for another Duck touchdown.
The Duck getting a workout as Winston must now answer again, down a dozen points after Mariotta's 56-yard touchdown pass to Carrington. Wilson's going to bring it out, or thought he was. Now he is. A double hesitation by Jesus Wilson. Now he gets free momentarily and is driven out at the 12-yard line. Can Winston answer? Again, working the middle of the field and finding Cook. We're about 7.
That's definitely the adjustment that Jimbo Fisher made with Jameis Winston. Because they weren't able to make plays to the outside of the Oregon defense with Rashad Green and the other receivers, right away we've seen them in these first couple of drives of this second half attack the middle underneath. And when you make a simple throw like that, similar to what we just saw with Oregon, now you get the linebackers next time the back is in front of them to come up, and it can open up a nice route behind them.
Here's an incompletion and gunned it near side for Rudolph, but it'll be 3rd and 5. One of the rare miscommunications between Winston and the receiver today.
He's frustrated with his receiver Rudolph because he wanted him to kind of run a banana route. Instead of saying parallel, he wanted him to come up towards the line of scrimmage, and he stays out here. He wanted him to come there. He threw it more where he would be running downhill, and the young freshman instead ran it, and he was a little too parallel to the line of scrimmage.
They converted 3rd and 21 on the last touchdown drive. They need just 5, but this is an important play. Ducks show pressure, then back off into coverage, but it's Cook underneath, losing the ball. Caught it and fumbled it. Reggie Daniels for the Ducks. A second turnover and a second fumble by the true freshman on this big stage. Ouch.
We saw the senior Derek Malone earlier go after the true freshman and knock the ball loose, and this time it's Eric Dargan. The Noles have a first down. Well executed play, but again, it's from behind. The senior Dargan rips that ball loose, and when it goes down, there's nothing but green jerseys all over it to pick up another turnover by Florida State. That ball never seemed to be securely in the arms or hands of the young running back. Here's the leadership of Jameis Winston. A lot of football left. We cannot afford to have him lose his head if I'm Jameis Winston.
He's lost the ball twice, though. We'll have to see if they go with Williams from here on out. Now, can Mariota make him pay? Play action. They fire it near side. This is Nelson who gets a block. Charles Nelson dancing down inside the 30. It's first down.
Yeah, if you think they've gone tempo before, this team senses when they have a defense and a team. It's kind of that blood in the water kind of feel. That's where Oregon is right now with a nice lead by 12 points. They get a turnover. Now you're going to see tempo.
Fake it to Freeman. Pump fake. Running free again as Carrington sidesteps a man and scores. Made to pay in a hurry for Dalvin Cook's second fumble. Carrington's second touchdown in short order from 56 and now 30 yards, Kurt.
They baited him, and then they attacked. Got exactly what they wanted. And this Florida State defense that's been reeling, they got lulled to sleep, and that's where Marcus Mariotta makes his big plays.
Snyder makes it a 19-point lead.
You got a receiver right here at the bottom. Now watch the Florida State defense. You see how they attacked? They're thinking about that short, quick throw. They bit up on that pump fake. They do it so many times in this offense. Carrington acting like he's blocking, then goes downfield, makes the throw. Set up once again, Chris, by the turnover by the freshman.
Yeah, both of Cook's fumbles have been cashed in for touchdowns. Winston and the Noles are really up against it now, down 19 to a team on a roll. Noles got to get a touchdown here to answer. It's not, with all due respect to some of the teams in the ACC, it's not NC State, it's not anybody else. It's Oregon that you're down big against.
And what's unique about this is it's one thing for Jameis Winston and the Noles and Jimbo Fisher maybe to get on track and score, but you're down 19 points now. Are you telling me all of a sudden you're going to stop Marcus Mariotta?
Wilson trying to provide a spark with the return, but he's knocked down short of the 25-yard line. Robinson replaces him. It's a first down run, and breaking free, Williams, the senior, is spinning to the 35-yard line.
It's a much better job by the offensive line. They win the battle up front. You can see there's nobody in the middle. They are spread out with the formation of Florida State and all the wide receivers all over the field. And Carlos Williams, it looked like initially at the handoff there, looked like he might have lost control of the ball. That wasn't the best execution there between the quarterback and the running back.
You fake it to Williams. Winston fires low and incomplete. Cook with those 2 fumbles on the sidelines now. He's got 103 yards. Carlos Williams trying to make it a second tailback in the 100-yard club today.
Noles not only facing Oregon, but obviously also their enemy right now, the clock.
Yep. That's the downside of running the ball and methodically moving it downfield.
Oregon more than willing to give up yards and keep the clock moving. They just want to keep everything in front of them and rally to the ball.
Rudolph on the edge, gets a block, gets free, and is knocked out of bounds at the 35-yard gain.
Impressed by these corners. I really had my doubts, my questions about how they hold out without their 4-year starter, Ifo Ekpre-Olumu, their leader, injured in bowl preparation. And Troy Hill and Chris Cisse, up to this point, have held their own. They've done more than hold their own.
There's another third down. They need 5. Winston pressured, delivers. Incomplete. It was a little bit behind Travis Rudolph. Troy Hill was defending, and now it's 4th down.
Boy, he had him wide open. I was surprised he didn't release it. His eyes must have been looking to another area. In fact, I think he was looking off to his left. But for a while there, Travis Rudolph clear in the middle, just open, just waiting for the football. And by the time Jameis Winston saw him, it was too late.
They couldn't get the 4th down earlier, and they still don't have a 4th down conversion all season long. They need 5 yards here to really maintain contact in this football game. Ducks rush only 3. Winston has all day. Tries to escape, circles back, still alive. Loses the football. Ball comes out. It's scooped up by the Ducks, and Tony Washington streaking to the end zone. Is that the Ducks' dagger?
You know, in some ways, with the year that Winston and Florida State, the year that they've enjoyed and coming back so many different times, it almost took something as bizarre as that play to maybe do them in and finish them off this year.
He circled, he stayed alive forever, stumbled, finally just dropped the ball, and Tony Washington, most experienced guy on that defense, in his 29th start, adds to what's been a terrific game for him. And Schneider has the extra point blocked. There's a scrum there, and they'll blow it dead. The lead stays at 25.
This was, again, great coverage by Oregon. They took away all of his reads early. He's trying to keep this play alive, and as he starts to scramble around, Carlos Williams was there to break free, but it's very tough to see him. And how about Tony Washington? He's the one, he left Carlos Williams in coverage to get pressure. And when he did, Jameis Winston just trying to keep the play alive, just fighting and struggling to try to make something happen.
That's the 3rd fumble recovery on the season for Washington. He made a big sack to clinch a win over Washington State. He's been a clutch player. Mariota says, we're up by 25.
They're not used to being in this position.
Not this far behind.
No.
Not against a team this good. Whitfield. Can he produce some magic? Flag comes down as Whitfield still squirts free into Oregon territory, but there was a flag, a couple of them on the field very early in the return. Winston. Ball came out wobbly, picked off. It was out of the hands of Travis Rudolph. Another turnover. Was his arm hit as he threw?
Now the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage by DeForest Buckner, 6'7", 290. And we knew with Buckner and Armstead, one 6'7" and the other 6'8", that they had a chance to knock these footballs down. And you'll see it off to the left. 44, number 70. He gets his hand on the ball right there, deflects it, made it tougher for Rudolph to hold on to the ball, but then it goes out of his hands. And there is Dargan again. He's made a lot of big plays tonight for the Ducks defense. Had a strip that eventually led to a fumble and a touchdown for Oregon. This time off the tip ball from his teammate Buckner through the hands of the receiver Rudolph and into his hands for the interception.
And now the Ducks are off and running again. It's Freeman around the edge in the final minute of the third quarter, trying to make it an even bigger deficit for Florida State.
That's the thing with Oregon. It's not as if they think, okay, we're up 25. You've turned the ball over a bunch here. We're gonna slow up. We're gonna ease up. If anything, they're gonna go faster right now.
Freeman spinning away. It's a first down at the 31. Don't have to snap it again in the third quarter, but they might.
They might. Well, they've got just enough from this running game tonight. 149 yards, 157 yards on the ground through 3 quarters to complement what they like to do in this offense. And there's Randy Sanders, the offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, who has worked so many hours and spent so much time with Jameis Winston, just trying to calm him down, trying to just put the 4 up. Just try to keep competing, keep your composure.
Now the 4 fingers refers to the fourth quarter, but it could refer also to 4 turnovers for Florida State, which have been huge. Cashed in by the Ducks for 21 points and the potential for more. Oregon up by 25, 15 minutes away from the championship game in Texas. Deep trouble for O'Leary and the reigning champions. 101st Rose Bowl game presented by Northwestern Mutual. Also the first ever college football playoff semifinal game, and the Ducks are in the driver's seat as we begin the final quarter. Dominant 27-point third quarter for Oregon. 4 touchdowns, including 1 by the defense. And first down play, Mariota rolls, flips it to the end zone over the head of Marshall. He was close to the line of scrimmage when he threw it.
Yeah. Jameis Winston, while we were at the commercial, he's gathered his emotions with Randy Sanders, and now he's trying to convey that same message to the offensive line and the rest of this offense. Believe in yourself.
Talking about a guy that hasn't lost a football game since 2011. Alabama State High School semifinals. Viger High School beat him. Bayless makes the catch. Down to Heather Cox.
Guys, I was right behind the bench when Jameis got his entire offense together. Like you saw, he sat in the coach's chair and preached to his team, said, believe in ourselves. We are here for a reason. I love every single one of you. Keep believing. Then he stood up and went and shook every single player on his offense.
Well, can his defense get him the football back? Ducks need 5 on third down, and Freeman is stopped short. Reggie Northrup wrapped him up. It'll be 4th and about 2 yards, Kirk.
Yeah, one of the few times we've seen Oregon slow down. Instead of running to the edge, to the perimeter, they run the big fella Freeman. Comes up a little bit short, but you got to always remember with Mark Helfrich, even with this big lead, this is always 4 down territory. So third down, they're just thinking about trying to get it to 4th and even more manageable.
Excellent percentage all year long, converting on 4th down. Stopped earlier. Mariota keeps it for now. Cuts back, and Marcus Mariotta, a green blur to the end zone. Ducks hang half 100 +1 on the defending champs.
Watch Casher. He's in position to make the play. He outruns Casher. Casher should at the very least made him pitch the ball, and then you've got a running back and a corner to be able to make the play. It was good execution. Florida State's men were there.
Maybe some other quarterbacks you can run this fast. Other quarterbacks you can throw accurately. No one can do both those things like this guy.
Now they've run up into a juggernaut in Marcus Mariotta in this Oregon offense.
27 unanswered for the Ducks, as Wilson is knocked down across the 20. There's a handoff to Williams. The Ducks, besides being explosive, are also opportunistic. If they've broken, by the way, the Rose Bowl record, no one had ever scored more than 49 points in a Rose Bowl. Really allowed all season long 12 points after the rare turnovers. They got about a 10-to-1 ratio, converting more than 120 points off opponents' takeaways.
Incredible. And I think
stats in the game.
I think the turnovers fit into their offensive attack mode. They get a turnover, change the momentum, boom, they turn up the accelerator.
Over the middle, into traffic, catch made. First down across the 40-yard line, and it's Green.
Can't help but thinking, you look over this stadium, about a turning point in their season for Oregon when they had lost on a Thursday night to Arizona at home. A lot of people thought, uh-oh, this Oregon team may be in trouble, even though it's Mariotta's maybe his last year. And a week later, they came into this stadium to play UCLA and won decisively, and they have not looked back since, winning 8 straight.
That's a great point. The game was October 11th. They led 42-10 over the Bruins for a couple of late touchdowns. Winston a lot of time. And the catch made. Wilson trying to break free. Lost the ball again, and the Ducks have it. Another turnover, the 5th. The 5th in less than 18 minutes.
Unbelievable. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this. It's almost become contagious for Florida State. Bobo Wilson, who has come on this year as a sophomore, great protection. Wilson's there right away. The ball gets a little bit away from his body. These Oregon defenders are coming in trying to knock that football loose. That's exactly what they did again. Well taught. Give Don Pelham, the defensive coordinator, a lot of credit for having these Ducks in attack mode. They don't give up on plays. They've given up some yards, but a lot of times they're knocking that ball loose after they give up the yards.
Tyson Coleman recovered that, Kirk. Malone is in there again, forcing it. And now Tyner breaking free, and Thomas Tyner pinballing down near the 40-yard line. Ducks trying to really pour it on now.
Yeah, the Florida State will is being challenged. In fact, it's starting to crack. And when your will starts to crack, you start to become a poor tackler.
Worst team in the world to play when your will is cracking in the defense.
Yeah, because they're still in the same. They have the same mindset they had at the first snap of this game. They're not interested in 52 being a Rose Bowl record. They're executing. They're just executing. Scott Frost calls down the plays. They get it out there and use their tempo, and they're trying to put more points on the board. Junior
Linebacker Reggie Northrup being helped off. 29th 50-point game since Helfrich became offensive coordinator. It was under Kelly, who obviously called the plays when he was here. Helfrich underappreciated. You look at the other coaches in this Final Four playoff bracket. Saban, Urban Meyer, Jimbo Fisher. This guy makes about a third of what those guys make so far. He's the most underpaid coach in America, says Jake Fisher, his left tackle.
And you know who the happiest guy is? His agent. he's about to
second happiest. I think Mark might be.
Yeah, you're right.
He deserves it. He will get, they've said,
he better
a raise.
Pay these assistants too. Pay them all. Got to do it. Market value, right?
They pay the assistants. They've upgraded their pay. And they'll work the play clock for once in the game. Only time they haven't been in a hurry all afternoon. Tyner.
Yeah, Chris, I'm going to tell you something. Thomas Tyner, not only tonight, but next week, it's going to be fun to watch with him running the football the way he is. This is great.
Medford, Oregon. He went to Austria, a player coach for the Vienna Vikings. Helfrich said he wanted to go to medical school. All of a sudden, you get interested in coaching. You saw the brief stint in Colorado, comes here, named the head coach, and a lot of folks outside of the Pac-12 said, who? Who's replacing Chip Kelly? Never heard of him.
Yeah. And Rob Mullins, the
beginning to hear him now.
He wanted to keep the continuity, so he stayed within that staff. They have incredible continuity with assistants that have been there for over 20 years, and they didn't want to go outside and bring somebody in to replace Chip. Obviously, it's worked out pretty well for him.
Tyner has a first down and more. Lowers the head down near the 20. That's a great point, Kirk. The consistency on this staff. You got 3 assistants that have been in Eugene more than 2 decades.
And I think that's what helped with the transition. In fact, there wasn't a huge transition other than Chip Kelly ran the offense. You know, of course, during the week, he took a lot of information from Mark and other assistants on the offensive side, but he was in command of this team on the offensive side when he was calling the plays. And to take him out, I think a lot of people wondered who would have that presence, who would take over. And Mark's doing it his own way.
Yep.
And Scott Frost deserves a ton of credit for calling the plays. You imagine replacing Chip Kelly in this offense, calling the plays? Done a heck of a job.
Big shoes to fill, and Tyner cuts loose. Thomas Tyner to the end zone for the second time.
I'll tell you something. Florida State's quit. I don't know if I've ever said they would ever say that, but Florida State has quit. They have shut down the operation here in the semifinal. Early in the 4th quarter.
Tyner reaching that very same end zone here in the Rose Bowl, where the late game heroics won him a championship a year ago, and they've lived dangerously throughout this 29-game streak, especially this season. 7 narrow escapes, but you're exactly right. The streak will die with a resounding defeat at the hands of the Oregon Ducks, who are closing in on the championship game up by 39. See that in the garnet and gold section of the Rose Bowl, empty seats beginning to appear. Fan base so used to winning. They've done nothing but that the last 29 games, but rocked down 39. Whitfield breaks free. And now shoved out at the 40.
Marcus Mariotta has been in command. He had the one throw that sailed on him that was a surprise before the half. Florida State wasn't able to capitalize on that interception, but boy, he has just been, it's like the game's moving in slow motion for him. He's moving at warp speed, snapping the ball every 12 seconds, and the defense is, it's literally like they're in slow motion.
.41 points as a half is a Rose Bowl record. We talked about the 59 and the 641 total yards. If it is a matchup in Arlington against Alabama, it'll be the first ever meeting between the two schools. Ducks are 0-8 against Ohio State. If they face the Buckeyes, lost here in the Rose Bowl about 5 years ago.
Yeah, I love that shot of him over there just being one of the guys. That's his sanctuary. Not so much answering questions at the post-game presser today, but right there being one of the guys. He's not the guy, even though all of us on the outside, he's the guy. He's one of the guys, and that's a really neat thing about Marcus Mariotta, and it's why his teammates genuinely love this man as their leader.
He's grown as a leader too. They've asked him to be more vocal and more engaging, and he certainly has been. It's a different leadership style. You don't always see it in front of the cameras. You get the buckets warmed up here for Helfrich.
Chris, uncharted waters for all of us, right? They're going to load up the water, but uncharted waters here with this celebration. Usually we're here at this stadium and it's the culmination to a season. We got a game in, what, 11 or 12 days? Oregon does. So there'll be a celebration here, but there's more work to be done for Mark Helfrich and for the Oregon team. So it's a different feel. It feels different.
I totally agree. It's historic, and part of it is that it won't quite feel the same winning this game, where you can walk out and savor it and begin to think about the off season. You begin to think about the Crimson Tide of the Buckeyes.
Yeah.
They'll get the T-shirts, they'll be the confetti, and they'll get that trophy.
We still have the water down there. They're going to throw the water. Oh, they're emptying it. Maybe this isn't. You got to save the water potentially for the next one.
Victory formation. 34 unanswered points to turn a close game into a beatdown. And the Seminoles head for the locker room. Not many of them heading to midfield to shake hands.
Glad to see Jameis Winston, as a leader of this team, stuck it out. Over half the Florida State team right into the locker room. Didn't come across. Jimbo Fisher shakes hands.
Disappointing to you?
That's disappointing that 70% of the Florida State team's in the locker room. It's easy to go across when you win a game to shake hands. You lose a game after 29 games, and you can't come over and shake a hand of an Oregon player and tell them congratulations. Rashad Green's doing it.
Certainly Winston and Mariota in exchange. They'll see each other on Sundays to follow, no doubt. Tom Rinaldi's on the field with Mark Helfrich.
Chris, thank you very much. Before the game, the question was, how do you beat a team that hasn't lost in 29 straight? Now the question is, how did you beat them this decisively?
Well, we just tried to out-team them, you know, and I think our defense just played very, very well in the second half, creating a bunch of turnovers. Our special teams, we knew we were in for an absolute dogfight with their return game, and offensively we tried to do enough to make a difference. But extremely proud of our guys and our coaches. Great representation from our fans, and now we got one more.
What did you prove?
I don't know. That's up to you. You guys are all the geniuses in the media, but we believe a ton in our deal, and we believe a ton in who we are, and we've got a great team, great team of guys.
You were facing a team that had come back 9 times this season. What was the key to such a dominant third quarter?
Just playing, you know, we talked about halftime of just playing a little bit cleaner in every phase and finishing. And we absolutely knew we were going to get a dogfight. And that is an excellent team, an outstanding team. Ton of credit to those guys. It's unfortunate, you know, it goes from 4-2 and it's all of a sudden their season's a failure. That is a great team, very well coached.
It's uncharted territory. Now you have another game. How long do you enjoy this?
A few hours. We need to enjoy it because, again, those guys haven't been beaten in a long time, and it's tough. It's tough to do what our guys have done, but we've got a plan. We've got a plan.
Congratulations, Coach. We appreciate the time.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
Let's go to Heather.
Tom, thanks so much. Joined by Marcus Mariotta. Congratulations. You came in tonight as a Heisman winner. You leave leading your team to a national championship. How would you describe this moment?
It's incredible. I'm so proud of these guys in here, and for us to prepare all week and for it to show. I mean, you know, I'm just proud of these guys, and, you know, we got one more to take care of.
You guys used tempo as a weapon, but how were you able to do it so well in the third and fourth quarters?
It just starts with practice. You know, every single day we practice like that, and these guys were in shape, and, you know, for us, we just wanted to use it as a weapon.
You had one loss early. You guys haven't looked back since then. What did you learn in that one that helped you tonight?
I think any type of adversity makes a team stronger. It brings everybody together. And, you know, I'm proud of these guys. Once that loss happened, the mindset didn't change. And, you know, now we're headed to the national championship.
Marcus, this wasn't just a win. What kind of statement did the Oregon Ducks make tonight?
I mean, that's up to you guys. You know, all we want to do is come in and win and you know, get ready for hopefully playing in the national championship.
So much talk that this was just the third meeting of Heisman-winning quarterbacks. You had a moment to talk to Jameis briefly after the game. What was that conversation like?
I just told him good game to keep his head up. And, I mean, he's a great player. He's going to make plays. But, you know, I'm proud of the defense and the way they played, and we came out on top today.
Congratulations. We'll see you at the national championship. Nice way to ring in the new year, Marcus. Chris, back to you.
For our team in Pasadena, so long. Now to New Orleans, the Crimson Tide and the Buckeyes semifinal #2.